I see. I was like, there's another one.
I'd like to call the February 9th, 2026 Wall City Council meeting to order. Carolyn, would you please call roll?
Stan Anderson,
Here.
Morgan,
Here.
Houston,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Hawk, Mike Anderson,
Here.
Hoffman.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Let us stand and say the pledge of allegiance. Then please, I say,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any order of business for emergencies?
No,
And do we have attendance on Zoom?
Councilman Stan Anderson is on Zoom.
Okay. We have a deputy report.
Do you like the calls for service for the month of January? Has that already been done though?
You know, actually, I think we did do that
I
last
think
week.
you
didn't we?
Yeah,
Oh, was it handed in then? Cause we had our meeting on the 29th, I guess.
Okay, and so then she was thinking this was the first meeting in February. I get that too. How about you
It
come
is the
back
first
on our
meeting in
next meeting
February.
and give us an updated report then?
yeah. Did you get the January one or should I be looking for that?
I don't know what got turned in, I guess.
We can figure it out.
Not normally the deputy that comes with the.
Yeah.
It speaks my sergeant's day and he did not mention to bring that report. There's only one item that I'm really aware of that we spoke today that we're concerned about. Do you want me to talk about that?
Okay, sure.
I don't know. There's one pickup truck just south of the county housing building that is owned by a deceased member of the community. And we can't understand who to tell it to come get that, so. Deputy Christopherson and I are gonna figure out how to get that truck moved here, so by the time the snow flies, if it's ever gonna come, it won't get in the way for the city. That's all I'm really aware of, and then we'll make sure to get that outline of the calls for service in January.
Okay, and yes, that pickup had been reported to me, so thank
Yeah.
you for taking action on that.
I don't think it's really affecting anybody right now, but as soon as the snow is there,
Yes.
we'll have to be moved, yeah.
Yeah, if we can just get it parked in the parking lot even would be great.
Oh,
Yeah, that's all that's gotta
I never
happen,
thought
but
about that.
somebody,
There's a trailer also in that parking lot. You can put it next to the trailer maybe, but then we're just kicking that stone down the road. Anything else the sheriff's office should be aware of that can bring back to Sergeant Hara?
not at this time,
Okay, and I'm sorry I didn't have that calls for service, I thought it was already done, so,
no worries.
okay.
Thank you for what you do, we
Okay.
appreciate you, absolutely. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So.
Mike has moved
Second.
and Jerry seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare this evening on anything regarding the agenda? Hearing none. The minutes of the January 29th, 2026 city council meeting was in your packet. And if you have reviewed those, would I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 29th?
So moved.
Zach moved, Rick seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay. So then also in your packet was claims for the city of Wall. And those these amount to $45,611.23. Fire department claims, $2,965.14. The library is $1,405.35, and cemetery is $10,356.97. indicating a reimbursement on the deposit. Is there any questions?
Have a pump go out somewhere for the north-south LS pump parts.
Lift station, yeah, they didn't go out, they had to replace a wire. And I can't remember what else. But yeah,
Will that fix that pump then? Do you think?
yeah,
What number is that one, Gary?
what's that?
What number is that one?
Would-
Look, it's north and south, there's both had issues.
Any other questions? None? Do I have a motion to approve the City of Wall Fire Department Library and Cemetery claims?
So
Mike moved.
second,
Zach seconded. Any other questions? Hearing, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, also in your packet for your review was the on-call schedule, employee overtime, sick and vacation report. Also the water usage report for this month, the month of January, as well as the comparison to 2025. The sales tax for the month, as well as BBB tax. Found some interesting numbers there, if you had a chance to look at those. Also, the budget,
It's still a little bit above what 24 was though, because from last year, remember, it was way increased. So now it's a little bit above what 24 was now. For the month of the sales tax income.
We'd have to go back and look, I guess.
I just pulled it for the other day. But, yeah, we had that 75,394. We did 81, a little bit over 81 for this year.
month,
Yeah, year to date.
because I think you're right on that, last year's this time.
It was so funky there for a
Some
couple months. It was like that.
There.
Yeah.
Unexplainable, so. All right, the revenue and expense report is included. And also the account balances that Carolyn has put together for us. Indicating the checking account numbers, money market and so forth. Any other comments or questions on any of those? Hearing, seeing none, we do have a visitor this afternoon, and I'm going to ask. Oh, is it evening yet?
It's evening, Mary. You've lost part of your day.
So Rashawn, please.
Hi, everybody. I would like to introduce Terry LaBrea and Caleb. I don't know where that came from. Caleb Frick, who's on Zoom, who are joining us to share some funding tools that I believe could be a strong fit for where Wall is headed next. Terry LaBrea is with Dakota Resources, an organization that partners with communities across South Dakota to turn good ideas into real projects. Terry will walk us through the loan program Dakota Resources offers with a focus on how these tools can support community economic development, especially projects that need flexibility, gap funding, financing to move from concept to construction. Joining her will be Caleb Fink from Trip Economic Development Corporation, who is also serves on the Dakota Resources Board, among others, with a focus on how these tools can support community and economic development efforts, especially projects that need flexibility gap. I switched. How these programs to advance their projects in their communities, offering a practical look at how these tools work on the ground and impact they can have. As we continue to explore funding options for Walls Industrial Park and the broader community needs, these loans could also help with continuing infrastructure and road development and future industrial park expansion. build and support my tech incubator that will provide affordable space, shared resources, and business support for startups, small manufacturing, trade businesses, biotech, and value-added aid companies. It lowers the barriers to entry level so entrepreneurs can focus on growing their business rather than absorbing all those costs up front. This is an opportunity I believe could work very well for Wall Economic Development and Wall. These programs have the potential to help us get projects up and running sooner, reduce barriers to development, and keep the momentum moving in Wall and the industrial park. And with that, I'm excited for this presentation and the possibilities this could open up for Wall. We'll start with Terry. She'll give you the nuts and bolts, and then Caleb will give you real world experiences.
Good evening, everyone. So I've got a handout here for you, just so you can have something to peruse through it.
Do it.
You can take the rest. So a little bit about me. I am the Director of Community Lending for Dakota Resources. I've been with them for almost 5 years now. Prior to my role at Dakota Resources, I worked for state government for almost 25 years. Primarily in the South Dakota Department of Agriculture, and then I also worked in the Governor's Office of Economic Development, both in the financial side of both of those departments. I grew up on a family farm in Smink County near a small town called Turton, which you probably have never heard of, but anyway. So Dakota Resources, we are celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, so that's pretty exciting. We provide capacity building services through our coaching programs as well as capital. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about our capital investment fund. It's a super flexible financing mechanism where we work with local economic development organizations, a few housing authorities, but primarily economic development organizations to help them fund projects that they deem worthy in their communities. So we don't come in and tell you what to do here. You guys decide what projects you want to do here, and as long as it's a community or economic development purpose, our funding can be used for that. It's about a $42 million fund right now. A lot of that is out working in communities. We provide financing to local nonprofits. Like I said, our loan fund is typically designed for a term of 10 years with quarterly interest only payments. So we keep that flexible for the organization. After 10 years, a lot of our borrowers will renew that loan. So they keep the funds working in the community. They can pay it off if they want to. That's completely up to them. But a lot of them do renew it. The interest rates that we charge right now are on your sheet. Those are based on our cost of funds. So the capital investment fund is funded primarily by investors. We also get some grant dollars as well as the CDFI funds. So CDFI, Dakota Resources is a CDFI, which is a community development financial institution through the Department of the Treasury. And some of our capital in the capital investment fund is funded with CDFI funds. Most of that capital is through investors. So we have a lot of banks that invest in us. We have some utility co-ops. We have some healthcare institutions that all invest in our capital investment fund. And our rate is determined as a blended rate of all of those costs of funds. So some grant money at 0%, some at 4%. So we do a blended cost of fund and then we make a little bit on the top end. So that's what you're seeing there with the 5.35 variable rate, the 5.65 adjusted or 5-year rate, and then the 5.9% fixed for 10 years. The amount that a community can borrow is all determined by the organization's balance sheet. So we have policies that limit what we can do in a community. It's based on the lower of 30% of total assets, 100% of net assets, no more than 10% of our entire capital investment fund, and you have to have a net asset ratio of at least 20%. So everything that an organization can do to build their balance sheet helps them be able to leverage more dollars from our capital investment fund. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anything else. Sean, does that sound good? Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Caleb because he
That's
can
about it.
speak on our actual example that he has used with the TRIP economic development to utilize our funding. Then I can help answer and try to answer any questions you have.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
So Caleb, do
Awesome.
I understand you're a legislator and you're actually zooming from here?
So I'm not a current sitting legislator. I did serve in the legislature. Pardon me, Madam Chair. I kind of getting over the Capitol crud that's unfortunately going around here in the Capitol. I was a legislator from 2019 through 2022. And I served in a various roles of staff capacity prior to that. Did some lobbying, and now I work for Commissioner Greenfield in the Office of School and Public Lands. But I am in my office in the Capitol because that's where my laptop got left today. So, so in my other roles, and that's a little bit about my background. The rest of my background, I am a farmer from south of Tripp, South Dakota, and so that's home for me. Tripp, South Dakota has always been home. I graduated from Tripp Delmont High School, and so in my time when I'm not in the capital or doing other things across the state, I like to serve my community, and one of the roles that I serve my community in is I'm president of the Development Corporation there, and have been doing that for a few years. So a little bit about how we have put the Dakota Resources Lending Capital to work in TRIP. A couple of years ago, this is probably going back 6, 7 years ago now, there was an effort to revitalize our development corporation. It was pretty well defunct at that time. So we were able to get a group together, revitalize things, and as the time has progressed, we've tried to be more ambitious with the projects that we've taken on in TRIP. A number of years ago, right actually during the middle of COVID, we were going to take on our first housing project. And so we built a speculative house and we sold that. That project was very successful. And so after that, our board went through the Dakota Resources BOLD program, which is designed to help our board members understand their role within our organization and help give them the tools and help teach them about other tools that exist out there to help us with the development corporation and what we do. One of the things that my board learned about was the flexible financing through Dakota Resources. And so when we put our plan together for our strategic plan for 26, 27, and 28, my board said, let's do 3 houses. We did 1 spec house prior to that. And so they wanted to do 3 more. And for our community, that's something that we need is housing. So when we started putting pencil to paper on the drawing board, we were able to go and say, let's utilize some funding from South Dakota Housing through their Housing Opportunity Fund program. And I'm throwing a lot of different programs at you. And I promise I'll center this back to where you're at tonight. And so that was a part of what we wanted to do. However, that left us with a gap. And the other problem was to get all of the paperwork lined up for that particular program. That program only comes around once a year, and there's no guarantees that you're going to get into that program. And so my board said, there's got to be another way that we can find a way to, produce some more capital that we have that's flexible, that we can roll from one project to the next. And that's where Dakota Resources came in. And so we were able to apply to working with Terry to Dakota Resources to get some of that flexible capital that we're talking about tonight. Now, for us, that wasn't easy because we're in the same boat, and this is why I was brought in tonight. When I started with the Development Corporation, we had no balance sheet. There was basically nothing there. And so to say that we were going to go out and try and borrow money from somebody, obviously we've got to have something on the other end of the balance sheet to offset that. And so we had to work really hard for a couple years through basically two big things that helped us get to where we needed to be is we did a big capital campaign, and that was difficult and took quite a bit of time. But we were able to be successful on that side. And then kind of out of the blue for us, the thing that put us over the edge is we had somebody that donated a building to us on Main Street in Tripp. That was still worth quite something. Actually, we are temporarily using that as our office space for the Development Corporation now. And so between those two things, we were able to put our balance sheet in a place where we could actually go and leverage the dollars that we needed to through the lending program with Dakota Resources. And so that has now springboarded us, now that we have the capital and we've got board members with the capacity and the desire to want to move things forward. We are currently just finishing, in fact, when I was home over the weekend, they just, with the nice weather, they finished the shingle work on the garage on the house. And that'll be up for sale this spring. And we have two governor's homes slated for delivery, one in May and one in June. So we're going to take our 3-year plan. We're going to put up 3 houses within about 18 months of one another. We started our first housing project this past fall with obviously all the paperwork and planning starting about this time last year. But without Dakota Resources and the financial capacity that we've got gained through them, we wouldn't be sitting where we're at. And the best part about this is once we get through with these projects, my board is already starting to think about, well, what are we going to do next? We may do some more housing in Tripp, and that's definitely on the table. But we're also looking at other ideas that we can, take on with our Main Street development and entrepreneur development and other things. And the beauty of this project is the financing that we have from Dakota Resources can follow us wherever we decide that we want to deploy that. We have that financing for 10 years. And we report back in with Terry on a yearly basis to make sure that the balance sheets still look good and that the funds are still being used appropriately. And with that, we have the base for us to be able to run and do what we need to do to make our community thrive and prosper. So that's kind of my story as to how that's gone. And I'll tell you the other thing is anecdotally to this, because we've been having success with this, it has really helped us springboard into some other areas. We've got some folks who've been applying for some grant funding, and some of those types of things wouldn't be happening if it frankly weren't for the success that we're having on the housing front right now, because it's kind of elevated what we're doing in town. So there's lots of other things that can come along with this, but being able to build up those balance sheets so that you can leverage that financing through Dakota Resources, and if you can do that, it opens the doors to a whole world of opportunities. So I'll conclude there, and I'll stand by if there's any questions for me from any of the council members as you guys proceed here.
Does anybody have any questions for Terry or Caleb on this or me?
So Caleb, a question I would have, you said your capital campaign and your donated building, how many, excuse me if I'm asking, but about how many
sure.
dollars would have that generated?
So for us, the capital campaign generated us about 80,000 in capital that we could use. And our building, if I remember right, our building, I think is valued about $40,000 somewhere in that neck of the woods, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. And so that in combination with the balance sheet that we had prior to that, is what allowed us to leverage $45,000 worth of lending through Dakota Resources. So for us, it might seem like a small amount, but that's the amount for us that's all it took. That's all we needed to be able to unlock the potential for us.
Questions?
So it's an opportunity that we can pursue and you can get our numbers and give us the number of what we might be able to get for a project. Awesome.
Okay, anything else?
All right, well then I thank you, Kim, and I thank you, Terry, for coming in today and presenting to our council and my board, and I hope you both have a good evening, get some rest, Caleb. And safe
Will
travel,
do.
Terry. Thank you.
And thank you very much to the members of the council. She has my contact information in case any of you come up with follow-up questions later on. You're all welcome to reach out to me in a personal capacity. I have no problem with that anytime.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for
Thanks,
your
guys.
time. Thank you, Terry.
Yes, thank you.
okay. That brings us now to, Michael and Dean. With, a Shriner request, and that request was in your packet. Yes, sir.
So, everybody knows I'm Michael Ludeman, I'm a Shriner in the community here. Old McDonald Brigade is our unit down here, we try to do a lot for the community. We're on your guys' budget. Joel, bless his heart, would follow up with that. It got kind of brushed off to the side, we didn't know that we weren't on the budget, looking to get put back on your guys' budget again.
Do you happen to know the dollar amount?
In years past, it was $2,000. I
For the
believe.
committee?
From the city, and then there was 2,000 from the chamber also.
And, so because it, didn't get on our, approved on the budget then, Carolyn, what are your thoughts? Is there any issue?
Well, it just has to be done with this process, you know, when we take requests to be in the budget, the finance committee goes over it and the budget's approved. Well, the budget's been approved at the 2026 and that wasn't included, so it has to be a special request from there.
So I believe, well, first of all, what are your thoughts in terms of
I would like to do it again, we've done it before, it just got misplaced on the agenda.
Yeah, definitely.
Michael, how many years have we done that, do you know?
I do not know that, Richard, yes. Joel, if he was here tonight, he would know. I know it's been a few years, I've been a Shriner for, I think this will be my 7th year, so I don't know that it was all that time, for sure, I guess.
It was quite a while.
Yeah,
I'll make that motion to add on 2,000 additional for the budget.
Okay, Zach has moved to put $2,000 toward the Shriner request. Is there a second? Jerry has seconded. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Because you are Shriner.
Correct.
Okay, so please note that Mike has abstained. And then, will you vote again, just for the record? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right,
thank you guys.
thank you, Michael. Thank you for what you guys do.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry for missing you guys on the budget.
No, you're all right.
Okay, when you get the paperwork next year.
Yep.
Right on it, right?
Yep.
Okay, no problem. All right, that brings us then to the pickleball group, and that also is an agenda request. William, please.
Thank you. Excuse my hair, I just got done fixing supper, so.
You didn't bring us any?
I had Katie send out the bid for this last bid we got, it was about 113,000 less than the first bid we got. And I guess what I need is on the last page on the acknowledgements, where we need to maybe get a hold of Garrett and John together and see if it's gonna fit there for sure. I'm not sure where we need to get located on the power line to that pump house. And make sure that we have enough room there to do that. And then also we needed to kind of the approval for this so we can get the grant process started. And we'd really like to have the helper Sean to help us get going on that also and see where we're at with funding for it. I'm not sure if we need this sign. John needs a sign, then he needs a construction meeting with probably Garrett and myself and John. Probably look at that, or somebody from the council also that maybe wants to.
Right, well, Jerry is on the Parks Committee and
Okay,
for the parks. But looking the estimate over or the parts of this, does anyone have any questions too that should be addressed as a whole, before it goes to committee?
And I also had the maintenance agreement on that because we cannot receive any grant money if the city doesn't. Take the responsibility for maintenance on it. I suppose like anything else, I don't know what the maintenance is gonna be. I would assume on something like that, it'd be very little. I don't know how much there's been on the current courts up there now, but we won't be disturbing that at all. We'll be going north of the asphalt.
So you're not building on the tennis court side?
So, Garrett and John visited with the stockpile of material that they have from the airport. They thought they could build it up on the north end a little bit and make that work maybe a little better.
Oh, I didn't know that they were, John didn't tell me you were moving it over there. I thought it was going in the same spot.
Well, he said he talked to you and that,
He just, yeah, he talked to me about, supplying the rock.
oh, well, when I talked to him, he said that the conversation was moving it to the north end and not doing anything with the blacktop.
I said, I'm sorry, I thought we were just working on the existing.
Maybe I missed it.
That was the understanding we had at the beginning. And then when I talked to John last, he assumed, like, he said that him and Garrett had a conversation, I guess, and I don't know if it was a misunderstanding there. That it would go north of the blacktop and not have to mess with that and leave that alone the way it is.
So we have to approve the whole 164,000.
Well, that's our bid for we're gonna try and get the grant process, that's gonna be ours, you don't have to. I'm not looking for a financial agreement from you guys, I'm looking for approval to say, yes, you'll maintain it, and Garrett agreed to haul the material from it's stockpiled somewhere out west, northwest, into, I suppose, the west side of
Yeah, that lot.
that lot. So John bring it in, excavate a foot of dirt, pack it back in, concrete on top of thick mulch.
So the reason, would it be to keep the cost down, Wayne, from tearing all of that out and just, starting in a new area, building?
I guess I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Okay,
I,
I mean, it would definitely be cheaper, unless you guys were gonna do it, but.
Probably wouldn't take much to get that.
How thick is it? 4 inches, 6 inches?
Maybe 4.
You're talking on the existing.
Yeah, did John say why he thought maybe he wanted to move it north?
just the conversation him and Garrett had is what he told me. That maybe it was better north of there, I guess, I assumed we were cutting the asphalt and maybe. Maybe it's better north, maybe we're not, messing with the basketball court a little bit and leaving a little bit more room in there, I don't know.
What's your feeling on going a little bit north, Garrett?
That's where we originally looked at was on the north end of the blacktop, and then going north from there to 75 feet.
Just like tying into what's currently there.
It'd be raised above the blacktop. Just to keep the watershed.
And then that 164,520 is, that's accounting for the 23,375 for the cities. It's at where it says Public Works there.
Yes,
Okay.
that's, I'm assuming that's the total price. I guess I didn't add it up. I added the other one up. That was 112,000 more, but I do know with the other, well, let's see. I think that would probably include that 23,375.
Yeah.
Cause that's, removing the topsoil, a foot of topsoil and packing back in, and that would be on John. Garrett, just the city, what his request was, or what he said save some money would be having them haul out within 100 foot of that construction area. So it'd sit west of that lot, over close to the blacktop, I would assume.
Garrett, off the top of your head, is there any reason why going north wouldn't work?
You'd lose just a large chunk of the grass and.
So you'd have to mow that?
Sprinkler system,
Oh,
they take out the sprinkler system on that side.
cap it or
So, yeah, I don't remember.
It sounds like we should get back together, Wayne.
Does anybody use the tennis court, or does it use much? We use a pickleball, we painted some lines down there. But
Yeah, then nobody plays tennis.
No tennis, the kids are skateboarding.
Skateboarders and like, always see a lot of little kids on training wheels.
But what your plan is to put an 8-foot tall chain link fence around it with 2 walk-through gates. So that means no one else would be using that. What you're proposing to build, it would just.
Well, there's about, I would say, 20 people in town that do play pickleball right now. And I know Ryan Kerstead and their family are up there in the summers after she closes shop, playing early in the mornings. And I think Matthew Anderson, his wife, of course, they put their own court out there, but they get a little bit better competition up on tennis courts, up on where they're playing now.
Well, I'm wondering if we don't need to have a sit-down conversation in order to get everybody on the same page. Because indicating here, it is going to require a construction meeting and final site map, and maybe we can have a drawing of that with John and the city of Wall, and then I agree with you. I don't know what maintenance means either. So I'm wondering if that wouldn't lead us to a need for maybe some type of a memo of understanding, or what does maintenance means, like if this chain link fence blows down in a snowstorm, who's gonna pay to have that put back up, or how does that work?
I'm not sure. I know when they said in the grant writing meeting with Sean, that was one of the things that they needed to have in order to qualify for a grant. Since we're falling underneath the city tax code and using their information for that.
So I'll bet you that grant will require that in writing. You can't just say that you have a maintenance agreement, that you have one, if you can't show one. So I bet that would require something like an MOU. So do you think that it would be possible for you and John and Jerry and Garrett to get together before February 19th?
I can get a hold of John, see if he's gonna be around again, try and schedule something.
Yeah.
You shed any more light on that?
Yeah, they'll probably need documentation that the city has agreed to do that. That will go in with your paperwork for your grant. So, but we can start working on the grant application while we iron out the rest of these details.
Okay,
And then once those are worked out, we just add them into the application and send it off. So, because the 19th is a week and a half away, so it's basically next week. So,
I would say our group doesn't expect you to cover in that 164,000. Unless you really want to.
So would like our insurance be on this, like for like the park equipment that's there, like would it all fall under that? Like if a fence went down here, could we turn into our insurance to get fixed and maybe?
Well, it will be on city property, so it will be considered,
Yeah.
yeah, it
I
will be
would say it
covered
would
under
be
our
considered
insurance.
city property.
Yeah.
We would get it done, I suppose, like they did the previous tennis courts.
Hmm.
I don't know if the city probably paid for that, it's probably another. People went together and
Wayne, is the pickleball courts, are they about the same size as the tennis courts?
no, they're 20 foot wide by 44 foot long is the lines on a court, and then you've got about 10 foot on each end. and the sides, so you're looking at, 40 feet or. Yeah, 64 feet by 40 feet. Is the room you need, and that would give us enough room on this, put 2.5 courts in. And one would be just kind of a drilling area, I would say, I would call it.
So how, a question then, if you don't expect the city to come up with 164,000, are you like anticipating getting a grant?
We're
Okay.
anticipating trying to get as much with grants as we can, and, if there's a shortfall, then we're just gonna have to find another way to raise money.
How close to the road are you going north?
Halfway.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite halfway. 75 feet off of the end of the blacktop.
How big is the current pad up there?
It's about 104 by 104. So if you take 75 foot out of that, it really doesn't leave you a lot of room on the basketball court.
Because of, you probably.
It'd
have
leave
it in
you,
here.
leave you 25 feet, wouldn't probably be even enough for half court.
Okay, so would that be a consensus of the council to ask that group to get together and bring back something to us that might be helpful to them? Is that a consensus? Is that okay with you then?
Sorry, I misunderstood it.
So, and then,
Probably wasn't listening.
will you probably then work with Rashawn? You can probably see what that MOU would look like for our side of the agreement so that we can get it.
Yeah, we'll try to get that together for the next one, so you have a written documentation of what would be in that memorandum, so.
That'd be great.
What needs to happen, and like if there's major repairs, who does that fall under, right? Or the city just doing basic maintenance thing? I think if you just do basic maintenance, that will keep the major repairs under control, right?
And that is asphalt, right?
Concrete.
Concrete. So what, I mean, painting your lines and
It's
keeping your gate
actually
tight?
a surface they put down on top of that. For pickleball court,
So is it like this stuff they put on a tennis court, kinda?
I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not quite as rubbery probably. It just anti-slip more than anything, I guess.
Sure.
Safety.
I just, I look at the front of John's house out there, and since he's doing the concrete, that looks very nice. Oh, I told him to treat it like it was his home.
It looks slick when it's dry. It's
Would
pretty
this-
much glass.
This be a.
But our
sign-
major concern was just trying to get the grant process started, so we can hopefully get some, because it'll be, early fall before John said he'd be able to even start on it.
Would you be able to hold competition type things here?
Oh, every day.
I mean, outside
Every
competition,
day.
no, like, could you? hold
You
tournaments?
could, you could have a small competition. If we go to a tournament, usually the box has 9 courts in it when they play. Canyon Lake Activity Center has 4 outdoor courts, 4 outdoor courts, and then 3 indoor courts.
They only really use 2 of them though, because of the closeness. Inside, they only use 2 of them most of the time.
Gotcha.
So a total of
Are there leagues, like
Oh, yeah, there's, I talked Claude Ramsey of Spearfish, it's big in Spearfish. And a lot of people try and get a ranking of anywhere from 2.5 to probably 6.0, and there are some 6.0s, but like you said, I'm a rec player, I don't want to be a 4.0 and have to maintain that all the time, because it takes a lot of work, and We're really not that good. We have a lot of fun.
Much fun someday. Yeah.
So like, how many courts could you get in the powerhouse?
Too. It's just a little more room with two in here. It's pretty cramped in here.
Right,
But
I was thinking that.
the powerhouse, a little bit more room. We've only got one taped out in there right now. Well, partially taped, it gets beat up a little bit. I appreciate your time.
Right,
Thank you.
Thanks, Wade.
thank you.
Now let me know.
I will, when you talk to them.
Okay, so then that brings us to public comments, a time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the council with any issue on or not on the agenda, but action will not be taken on the issue. And until it can be added to the next meeting agenda. Do we have anyone here this evening that would like to public comment? Seeing none, that brings us to the sign permit request for Hanson Inn. The permit is attached to a picture of the sign. It's basically 4x8.
They didn't call me with the location or anything, I don't know where it's going.
When I talked to her on the phone, she said back by the wagons, is there like a grassy spot or something? Just to let people know that they're there, or maybe visit in the front. Shoot.
So you have not had an opportunity to inspect this then, is what you're saying?
No, they didn't call me.
I'd make a motion to approve it with Garrett finding out the location and make sure that's within our specifications.
Second.
Rick has moved to approve and Zach has seconded with the condition of Garrett inspecting. Is there any other comments or concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay. Next on the agenda is our chamber report.
Everyone, nice to see you all again. Our chamber met last Friday morning. And we did vote in Mel Scholl to fill our final vacant spot, so we are completely filled. We did set our February luncheon to be scheduled on February 24th at noon. Location to be determined at this point. Where our nominating committee will be presenting their slate of candidates for the chamber board to fill our vacancies that are gonna be opening up this year. After that meeting, I believe the next day, petitions will be open up to the public. So they can be picked up at the chamber office for anyone who would like to be on the chamber board. And we just ask the petitions to be returned to the chamber office prior to March 25th. Our chamber annual meeting is scheduled for April 15th at 5:30. And we're still working on all the details with the speaker and everything for that. We kind of wanted to share with you guys also that our residents for our holiday sweepstakes that we had, spent over $20,000 just the cards that were turned in alone. That's not including any of the cards that weren't completely filled up and turned back in, so. And also $7,000 was being, given back in wall bucks that is gonna be spent in the community as well. I'm just waiting for my final people to pick up the rest of their wall bucks. The chamber, has committed to buying 5 flags for the 250 project. Jerry had brought that up at the council meeting last Friday. I think I was just gonna bring them to you guys if you wanted, I can put it in my e-blast that I do to all of my chamber members on Thursdays. Just kind of putting it out there if anybody wants to be part of that project. So, you guys let me know who you want them to contact, I mean, I think it'd be really, really cool for anyone to get in on that project you guys are doing. Mhm. And then the final thing is, we did discuss with Roshan on changing our city cleanup day to be the first weekend of May, to have the city kind of polished and cleaned up before the Energize conference. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And that is all we have for you.
What about the radio news? Have you been able to start that?
I started that last week. If any of you guys tuned in, I thought I did pretty well.
That's very important.
I made myself a little script and I read from it and the guy was nice enough to talk me through the process before. I was like, how are you gonna know to hang up? And he goes, you need to make an ending comment. And I was like, well, that's all I have for the whole news.
So what time is that?
That is at 10:10
On Wednesdays?
on Wednesdays.
And is that sponsored or does the chamber pay for that?
We don't, yeah, I don't believe that we can do that, no.
That'd be a question for Katie, because we're kind of behind the.
So previously it was sponsored by, and I assume it's the same way, Chamber did not pay for it, but it was sponsored by Golden West, so I think that they somehow might, but I don't know the specifics on that, so.
What radio station is that?
KBHB.
8:10.
9.
Yeah.
8:00.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that part. I didn't even know.
You haven't listened to your own?
Don't listen to yourself, don't do it.
I said I said that we still have AM. That was news to me.
We'll have it recorded and played at the next meeting.
So,
You wanna see me turn red?
Just come with the same confidence you did this evening.
I didn't, you got it, well, this is more locked than it was last time.
Should have fallen down.
But I leaned on the last time, and it just forward.
Shot the wheels.
Well, thank you, Michaela. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I try, I'm staying busy, that's for sure.
Good.
Oh, good. Okay, Carolyn, senior finance report.
Yes, I just wanted to give an update on the election process. So the petitions to circulate started a week ago Monday, February 2nd. And they are due back in the city office by 5 p.m. on March 24th. Codified law states that only one person can sign a petition that positions are to be filled. So if there's only one position to be filled, then you can only sign one petition. If we had 2 to fill, then you could sign 2, but you can only sign 1 from each ward that's being circulated.
So if there's 2 people running a ward, you can sign 2 petitions?
No.
No, you can only sign one.
No, each ward only has 1 position to fill. And so
Gotcha, okay.
you can only sign 1 petition.
Gotcha.
To draw the names for the ballot placement will be at 4 p.m. on March 25th. If I do get petitions turned back in for that. So that would be the day after the petitions are due. Timeline is a little bit different with the change in the election processes now, so. According to state law, campaign signs can be displayed 10 days prior to absentee voting, and that is April 17th, so April 7th, they could be placed. And then they need to be removed by June 9th, and that's 7 days following the election. some of this will, like the deadline for registering for voting is May 18th at 4:30. There will be publication out there, but that'll be on rapid paper, of course, and we're gonna be putting things on our website to remind people, but since the current isn't open, I just thought we should be kind of explaining this more for that reason. And then, of course, the election is June 2nd. And so by June 9th, the election results will need to be canvassed. And so there'll probably have to be a special meeting for that, because we typically wouldn't have, that would be the next Tuesday, and our council meeting would be, well, no, we maybe wouldn't, because we'd have a council meeting following the 2nd, which would be the 4th, I think. So we may not have to have a special meeting, but that's the timeline for the election and just some additional information. So, you have any questions or?
Carolyn, what does it take for people to get registered to vote?
I have the paperwork in my office. It's a form.
What do they
fill
need
out.
to bring? Like
They
driver's
need-
license?
Yeah, because they have to, well, they can put their social security number on there if they want to, but a lot of people don't like to share that information. So yeah, your driver's license number is what they're looking for. So,
And that's what they,
May 18th is the deadline to be registered to vote. And so I would just caution people as well that, because we have had some changing in town with the utilities and stuff, I've noticed. I moved in town, but I stayed in the same ward, so I didn't have to change my voter registration. But if people have moved, you may want to pay attention in case you've moved to a different ward. So. And if people have any questions, or we do have maps available and the map is out there on the website as well. So to see where you live at and so what ward you would be in. Yeah.
so what other elections are going on, that like the school board is gonna have, they would be on the ballot, because they've got some people that need to run. So school, any county elections.
I'm not aware of what the county has right now. I'm trying to keep up with my own election. I can't keep up with both.
Because I think the sheriff and auditor, I think both of those are up this year, so
Right.
that should also be on those ballots then evidently, so.
Well, I'm thinking though that we can have separate ballots. I need to reach out to them because there was a change in that. It was kind of understood that we all had to be on the same ballot, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I will be reaching out to find that out, so.
But that would the vote would take place at the same day.
Yeah,
then.
they'll all be
My-
held here,
Yeah,
but we can have
yeah,
different
get the
ballots, I
ballot
believe.
then, yeah. So there'll be other elections
Mhm.
going on.
Right.
Okay.
And then we did receive the community chair appraisals, so, it averaged out with the 3 appraisals that they were $2.50 a chair. We do have some people that are interested in, getting some of those. It's entirely up to you, but I wouldn't recommend totally just donating them. I think you could give them at a price of $1 a chair. I think you need to get something back for them. I mean, we paid a pretty good price. It's not gonna, of course, be a drop in the bucket for that, but I think it just doesn't look good if we don't receive something. So I mean, that's up to you guys if you want to, just give them away, but I would think, because I have had interest of the Quinn Community Center or Town of Quinn, they want 100, Wasta Fire Department wants 100, and the golf course wants 50. We did have a call today of someone in Wasta, the church, was it? Yeah. So
Who was it?
the church.
Oh, Methodist Church?
Yeah.
They just wanted 10.
Yeah.
Methodist Church 10.
So I don't know how you want to determine who you're going to give a cut rate to, but even when you surplus the fire truck and Philip ended up with it, it was not just given to them as another entity. they just got a better pricing for it, so.
And then I had spoke with you last meeting when that came up about the airport, and they should probably have some out there. What do you think, or did you already talk with Garrett about that?
Well, yeah, what are we holding back?
We have 90 here.
We have 90 that we're gonna keep ourselves.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, we can store some of them out there so that they're.
It'd be
there
nice
for-
just to have them out there.
Yeah, so they aren't having to travel back and forth, you know, so, but.
It would be nice if we could donate them to this city taxpayers' money. Maybe we should just stick with the $250 a chair and let them decide if they want them or not. But I'll take everybody else's feelings on that too.
Cause we had a recommendation for a dollar chair.
The appraisal came in at $250.
Oh,
The
average
appraisal-
again.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's
so I
good.
didn't know if you wanted to just go straight across the board at the $250, or if you do want to give some cut rates to some of the other entities that are inquiring, but.
One thing I would say, you know, like volunteer fire departments or anybody that, you know, it's pretty hard for WASPA to. I mean, they work hard for their money too, for fundraising and stuff, but, and I talked to them, and they said they were willing to pay, but
Were they willing?
100.
And probably I think the church in Wausau should get 10 chairs, I mean.
They'd be no different than anybody else, though.
No, but.
That's, even if you win $1, that's only $10 too.
That's a lot of chairs, $250.
How much did we pay a chair for the new ones? Yeah.
We don't wanna know.
I don't wanna, I don't remember the price per chair.
And they probably got plastic on them.
Their fees,
They won't appreciate that.
they're rated for what, 600? huh?
1,000.
Oh, 1,000.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know that I'd put 1,000 pounds on it, but that's what they're rated for supposedly, but.
I got free one that didn't break it.
Very large people.
What are they rated for, polar bears?
You know, they were over $30 a chair, I'm pretty sure. But they were.
These chairs are were the originals. You know, 84, so.
Well, do we need a motion on our 250?
Linda. Thank you.
I was just wondering, how have those chairs depreciated over the years? I mean, whatever you paid for them, whenever you got them, they've been around a long time.
Depends on how much gum is on the bottom.
Well, and that from when I was pricing chairs, like regular, just metal folding chairs still run, I mean, granted, yes, depreciation, but the new ones are over $20 a piece. So I think they were like ranging from 22 to 25, just depending on where you were getting them from. So obviously, we want, you know, they're not worth that, but.
Well, I did just review the minutes of the last meeting, and there was a consensus with the council to donate chairs to local nonprofit organizations. Are there any of these groups that would fall under the nonprofit?
Sure.
The church and the volunteer fire department, are they nonprofit or are they profit? Whereas, and Michael.
The golf course is nonprofit.
What?
The golf course is nonprofit.
What was your question for Michael?
And Michael, I was asking, remind me how many you were interested in? For the city of Quinn,
100,
100, okay. So with that,
if there was that many available, I guess.
yeah, so then I think we need to also make sure we don't give away more than what we have too. And how many we wanna keep.
Well, we can put 4 or 5 people on a chair in there. We don't have to take out nearly as many.
So, okay, so the question is whether we are going to identify nonprofits and, keep with what you indicated before, or if you want to take Carolyn's recommendation and it's $1 a chair, is that what? Or if we sell an appraisal rate at $2.50, so what is the consensus of the council?
We'd need a motion on this, not a consensus.
I mean, exactly, what are the thoughts of the council so we can come
This
to
is
a
dealing
motion?
with money, so you have to have the motion.
I guess my feeling is there hasn't been any group really that has requested any of those chairs, and I don't think, you know, trying to decide who pays $1 or, you know, $2.50 or whatever, I would just make the suggestion, maybe $1 a chair straight across the board.
You wanna make that a motion? Or is that-
What was everybody else then?
Yeah, okay, he gave his opinion, anyone else?
I mean, we're not talking about a lot of money there, but,
Yeah.
and we would be helping other people, which I think is kind of the main goal in doing it that way, I guess, is my feeling on it.
There's still not gonna be enough chairs to go around for what we've had requests for then, right?
No,
Well,
I think
no,
so.
there is.
Yeah, I think we're still under.
Right now, we're at 260, right?
When 100.
In Wassa.
Wasta. The church 10,
And the golf course.
golf course 50.
And we had over 300 that after we held back the 90, so I forget the exact number. Yeah, yeah,
Well, you're at 260.
260.
so yeah, but it would be good to get them squared away maybe before we.
So Mike, you're saying
A lot
don't
more.
donate any, just about
I
for
say,
everything?
yeah, because I, you know, my feeling is if it's just straight across the board and it's $1 for everybody, you know, I mean, if you're not gonna take it for a dollar, then, you know, I mean, that's just my feeling.
Stan, what are your thoughts?
I thought didn't he make a motion?
Nope,
No, he's.
just look.
I'll make a motion, we charge $1.
I'll second it.
All right.
Perfect.
Is there any other okay, it's been moved and seconded to sell chairs, used community mental center. Community center metal chairs for $1. Any other comments or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Whew. I'm fine.
That was all I had for my report.
Okay. And that brings us to Public Works in here.
We got the last bit of the backsplash in on the kitchen, so it's done. We got a stove for $150. The Salvation Army.
So there you go. Our chairs just paid for our stove. Wow. What did you do?
It took a little cleaning, but it works really good. And Trevor got a quote from Overhead Door to replace the rolling door, and it was like $10,000.
Where, oh, in here?
Ooh, so that's kind of painful.
Yeah.
And why were you considering trying to, change out that door?
Just looks nicer and it would be more, you know,
They
up to
eventually,
date.
we have a bunch of those roller door things, they eventually just kind of don't work.
And I think it's a little bit more because it has like a 3-hour fire rating, which you probably have to have, I guess. I don't know for sure, but.
But is this door sometimes difficult to?
Oh, it's really heavy. And
Yes.
So do our senior citizens and our quilters have a lot of problems with that?
I haven't heard anything, but I'm sure they do if they pick it up.
They make Katie crawl on the counter to open it.
Yeah, what?
They make me crawl on the counter to open it.
What if we gotta find out that calendar one that's between the kitchen and the cooking area?
What if we got a garage door open and put on?
And I could look into, you know, something else.
Must be feeling good.
I will say though,
Right.
since you guys, you know, the hook was missing or the crank, and now that you guys made that kind of, that works just fine. It's, I mean, it slips a little bit out of the notch, but anybody should be able to open it with that. It's just when we had to manually go there and get it lifted up, it was kind of a beast, but that crank works pretty well. Is it a possibility to paint this one with something that would kind of not be brown?
I'm not picking the color.
Why not, Garrett?
Well, and we have to get all of it in each one of the
Yeah.
panels, that'd be kind of a,
That's been painted before.
okay.
But
Well, I would say for the price of that, we should probably hold off and do it, you know, if somebody has any problems opening it, you know, maybe we can get a hold of one of our guys to get it over.
And it's not an issue for me to go back there, it's just.
I can call too and see if they had, or have Trevor call and see if they had. A little less expensive, but.
Bottom line, it looks beautiful and we've had tons of compliments. So good job to you and your crew.
Good job on the clock too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And then. We were going around town checking drainage and I noticed that the drainage over there between the railroad tracks and the campground is getting pretty bad, so I got permission from Dustin Kerr to access the west side of that creek over there and take out a bunch of dead trees so we could get in there and work. And so I did take a few dead trees of his, just, you know, for letting us access off of his property and use stuff. And so we got rid of a bunch of trees that have fallen down. I'm widening the drainage ditch, making more of a slope, and we'll see if that helps get water out of town a little quicker by making that bigger, because one side sloped pretty good, but that west side was pretty much just straight up and down.
I'm sure any work that you're doing to is helping it, so. Appreciate it.
Okay.
That's all I'm up to.
Okay.
Waiting for snow.
I want rain this spring.
Yeah.
Okay, so I attended the South Dakota Municipal League Legislative Day last week, and the two committee meetings I sat in on was on data sites and then requiring permits. And one of them went to, the data site went to 41st day that day, but they were hoping to get it smoked out again later. And then permits being required. And these were permits that we don't have in our ordinances, but in other places they did. And so that did pass and it did go to the floor. I also want to make sure that all of you get the district meeting, which is Tuesday, March 31st, on your calendar, because that's the South Dakota Municipal League. That means about 10 communities in this part of the state. Their mayors will be here, their finance officers, their council members. And so it would be awesome if our council members could come to this district meeting. And I am also part of the planning committee on that. And so possibly I may need some help getting some things done that night, like door greeters and so forth. So
What time?
March 31st, it'll be 5 o'clock and it's a prime rib supper.
I'll be there.
Volunteer to get free supper.
Yes, we can make that happen, because you know what, Public Works guys do come to that. So all three of you would be on that, please come with.
I
Okay,
was just kidding.
no, I'm not. Okay, so that concludes my mayor report and request for tonight. Is there any other items for discussion? No action would be taken. Any comment?
Should we look at doing a declaration for the project 250? I saw Lennox did one a couple weeks ago. It was on the news and stuff. Should we look at doing something like that
Okay, and when would you like to do that?
next meeting?
Okay. What do you think that sounded like?
He's heading it up.
I'll reach out to Lennox and we can come up with something that they have that we swap ideas all the time, so
Okay,
I'll reach out to them.
okay, that would be great.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I made a mistake and I looked at the wrong size flags. They're $110, not $70. So I was thinking about just getting half.
As many, but maybe with Chamber coming in with some more, would they get the same size and you'd still come up with the same number, but, and I forget where I heard this, but did we get approval to put them on light poles? Or what light poles? Are we
The
putting?
poles we have out front.
Our street poles.
The street light pole, Main Street,
Okay,
is all I was talking.
okay,
Wayne was wondering if we didn't need permission if we went anywhere on city light pole or light poles, if we needed permission from West River Electric.
Yeah.
okay.
Sounds like we gotta come up with a lot more donations before we need to visit a whole lot.
Well, we could fix it with $100 a chair.
Don't show that. Okay, so, all right, so we'll get a declaration that we can relate to, and we'll do that next meeting. Thank you for that great idea. Anybody else that has any good ideas to go with this also is,
That's my one for the night.
okay, all right. Any other items? Okay, seeing none, our next meeting is scheduled for February 19th at 6:30. And we do have a need for an executive session, and it's listed as the one that we. Yeah.
No, that one's this is.
So, you guys are doing-
Oh.
I just wanted to talk to Justin.
I'm gonna make a motion, we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing legal personnel issues according to SDCL 1-25-2, parentheses 3.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go ahead and.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Is it Am?
Is my report done?
It's recorded and the board.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it.
Okay, I declare us out of executive session. With that being said, is there any further business that needs to be addressed tonight?
Yes, I am unable to unfortunately attend that meeting tomorrow with Dakota Mail. And
Oh,
so
okay,
hopefully Mike or Dan or Jerry could, or Zach, well, Zach probably can, he's working, but somebody else could, because I think it is rather important, so.
okay, all right, thank you for letting me know that then, Stan. All right, with no further action, I declare the meeting adjourned.